very much. A little bit of Brazilian to start off the show. Now we're going to move to Mexico. Of course, these are marimbas on the stage, and the marimba originated in Africa, and behind me is the origin of the marimba. And the second half, you're going to get to hear some wonderful balafon playing by Nadi Camara. So the marimba, of course, the wood that they make marimbas out of is rosewood. Our marimbas here are made out of rosewood, which comes from the country of Honduras. It's becoming very rare. It takes a long time for this wood to, cure. It's very, very hard wood. And the wood on the balafon, I was told this week, is that wood is becoming very scarce in Guinea. And if you said you have to travel a very long way to get back into the mountains where it's very, very, very dry to find these trees where they make these instruments. So it's kind of a little bit a sign of the times, I guess, in the world where we're getting to where these resources are getting, more valuable, and therefore, these instruments increase in value, I think. As the respect that we have for the instrument too, a little bit there. Anyway, Mexican marimba music is really fun. I mean, you've probably heard mariachi music and other kinds of Mexican music. Mexican marimba music comes from the very southern part of Mexico called Chiapas, which is right on the border of Guatemala. And the national instrument of Guatemala is the marimba. So Chiapas is right next to it, and there's kind of music, borders, there are borders, but then there's, people don't really, peoples that were there before the borders were there, they don't care about the border anymore, so, the music flows back and forth. But the music that's played on the marimba in Mexico is, the same kind of folk music you hear all over Mexico. We're going to play several of those pieces for you. The other thing I want to tell you is when you hear the balafon in the second half, you'll hear a very buzzy sound, which is characteristic of this instrument. This instrument has little gourds under the bars that resonate to create sound. Each little gourd has little holes cut in it, and they stretched. They would use, goat intestines or something, or spider webs or things like that, and then stretched over the hole. Kind of like the kazoo concept of a kazoo, right? So the buzzy sound. So that you'll hear that for this marimba in the second half. In Mexico, their marimbas they use in Mexico also have that same buzzy sound. So just go on YouTube or whatever, look up Mexican marimbas, you'll hear that kind of really cool sound. And the reason why they do it in Africa is to make them louder, kind of amplify it, because they're trying to cut through all these drums and singing and stuff. But it's a kind of different sound. So you'll be hearing our traditional marimbas without the buzzy sound. But anyway, I hope you enjoy this first one's Paquita, and then we'll move on from there. So hope you enjoy Paquita. Steve Chavez, who I taught for a year in New Mexico, and I met him in Albuquerque, and he is a Mexican marimba aficionado and runs a band down there, and he has written a lot of music, arranged all kinds of music for marimbas, and this is one of his originals, but you would never know. Listening to it, it's just like so many great Mexican tunes. Some of the kinds of music they play, of course, different names for, like there's different beats they play, like the cumbia. They also play what's called ranchero music, which is what the mariachi bands play. They also play polkas. This is kind of a polka feel on this one. And they also play waltzes and other types of grooves and rhythms. So this is one of the kind of polka types. Hope you enjoy Fiesta en la Jardín. Mexico City or somewhere in Veracruz or something. This next one is kind of a neat, really beautiful melody, folk song. So when I say folk song, I mean a tune that no one really knows the composer of. And it's got a great legend behind this piece. It's called La Llorona, the Weeping One. And the story is very interesting. It's a story you tell your kids to make sure they don't stay out too late at night. It's a woman who, I'll tell you real quick, a synopsis of the story. It's this beautiful woman in the village, and this rich guy comes through and notices her and asks her to marry him right away. And of course the family says, oh yes, great, we'll marry into wealth and all that. She has 2 sons, and then he becomes interested in someone else. But he loves his 2 sons, you know. He comes to see them, but he starts to forget about her. And out of grief and anger, this is kind of crazy, of course, she kills her 2 sons, drowns them in a river. This is a typical Mexican story, I guess. Drowns him in the river, and then hoped to get back at him. Of course, it doesn't work, and then she warns her two kids and kills herself. But because she did that, of course, Catholic country and all that stuff, she is not able to gain access to heaven and is forever trapped in the netherworld. And so then her ghost constantly is around the river. So if you hear her calling or weeping, if it sounds far away, she's actually close to you. And the story is if the kids are out, she'll drown the kids. So if her kids out run around the river and you hear this crying far off, it actually means she's right near you. So anyway, kind of scary, spooky, but that's the story. It's kind of a neat little legend, but it's a beautiful piece. I hope you enjoy La Llorona. having any stopping. It just goes from one piece to the next. So I want to say a few things now. First of all, thanking the guest artists that we have this year. Omar Keita is a local, actually now. He moved here from Guinea, and all three artists are from Guinea. And Manimu Kamaram is from Guinea as well. They live in different regions of the country, but they've become best friends. Manimu and his older brother, Nadi is the balafon player. Manimu will be the djembe player and kind of the dance leader. I also want to really thank the Jebe Bara group, who is from here in Missoula. They help us out almost every other year, bringing dance, providing their wonderful dance and percussion. And so really want to thank them for helping out once again and being a part of this concert. Let's see, also, the second half, the order is a little bit changed from what's on the program. So if you care, the second piece is now going to be Yankadi, which is, so instead of what we have now, we're going to put in another one called Yankadi, which has kind of a lot of singing in it. And then the rest of the program is kind of the same. But anyway, and there will also see some cool instruments like the Krin, which is next to last piece, I believe. And that is a cool log drum instrument from the southern region of Guinea, which is where Manimu is from. A log drum is basically cut out a solid piece of tree and cut out, and you can get all these different tones out of it with sticks. So hope you'll really enjoy that. This last piece, La Bamba, of course, is very well known, probably one of the most famous of all Mexican folk songs, made famous by Richie Valens with his 1950s hit. But there's so many versions of it. And this is one of my favorites, of course, because it's for marimba. But it's a wonderful arrangement by William Kahn, former member of the group Nexus, a phenomenal percussion ensemble. It's a real upbeat version of La Bamba. Hope you enjoy it, and then we'll take a break for intermission and get set for the second half. So here is La Bamba. We're very happy to share this too. Thank you so much. And also, I'm teaching a dance class tomorrow morning. I'm a dance teacher also. Yes. Do you have more information?
Tomorrow, late morning, 11 a.m. at the Mask Studio on the west side. $15. It's an hour-and-a-half class with Bonnie Moon, and there'll probably be lots of live music. It's a great workout, but it's just fun to come here to and all of you guys on stage just showed us all. So come out if you guys want to. If you have any questions about that, just ask one of us. And we'll tell you.